A lovely good afternoon. You are still watching Millennium TV. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Nation of Powers program. It is good to know that you're tuned in, our dear viewer, and it is good to know that you are on the other side of the screen watching Millennium TV. My name is Lovis Chulufia, and I'm your host as usual. Remember to catch us on your top set decoders on channel 95. You also find us on Facebook. It is Millennium TV Zambia. Today, let's discuss who the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front is. And joining me to discuss that is Acting Patriotic Front Secretary General Celestine Mukandila. Mr. Mukandila, I know that you've got a very busy day, so I do not want to keep you for long. How are you doing this afternoon?
Very well, thank you, madam, and thank you very much for having me here.
It is good to have you in studio, and of course, just to put some clarity to the many questions that the people of Zambia have with regards who the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front is. Maybe let's start from the court issues, the judgment, Chavinga, Mayo Sampa, Makebi Zulu, and all of that. Maybe just put it into context for us.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very, very important question to ask, especially now that we've approached the dead end of the election process and we'll be going into elections. So I would want to bring you back to as far back as 2021. In 2021, the Patriotic Front lost elections and were defeated by the UPND. The president of the party, then President Edgar Lungu, decided to resign from active politics. And from there, the person who was acting as president was Vice President Given Luvenda, who then was appointed Vice President of the party. So he acted as president. Fast forward, in 2023, or is it in 2022? 2023, Miles Sampa decided to have a purported conference, which conference was disputed. The moment that was done, we saw President Edgar Lungu coming back into active politics. So from there, the person that has always held the legitimate process or the legitimacy of the party Patriotic Front has always been Edgar Lungu. So from there, 2023, Mao Sampa did whatever he did. He went alone, and of course nobody recognized him within the party structures. And of course people stuck with the original legitimate PF, which was headed by Edgar Lungu. In 2023, when Edgar Lungu came back into active politics, he was the one holding on to the legitimacy of the party. He was the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front. And we saw that then it was miraculous that the Mingalato of the UPND, they decided to hold on to the legality of the party. So I would want the Zambian people to differentiate between legitimacy of the leadership and the legality of the leadership. Right. So the people that were holding on to the legality, and by legality I mean those that are registered with the Registrar of Societies. In the Register of Societies, these were the likes of Chavinga, Ngona, and others. And they were under the rulership or leadership of Miles Sampa then. But those that held the legitimate Patriotic Front remained Edgar Lungu. Then, fast forward, President Edgar Lungu died. May his soul rest in peace. The leadership of the legitimate leadership of the Patriotic Front moved from President Edgar Lungu to President Given Luvenda. The person that continued holding on to the legitimate leadership of the party was President Given Luvenda. So, despite the fact that we recognize the fact that the Registrar of Societies continued to maintain the likes of Ngona on those details, the likes of Chavinga on those details, we as a Zambian people and as a Patriotic Front, we knew that the legitimate leadership of the party is with President Luvenda. Now, we decided to say the very way we've been moving is the very way we'll give the Zambian people a conference to choose a flag bearer for the Patriotic Front, legitimate leadership. And we decided to go
This was despite the ongoing legal issues.
Of course, we knew those legal issues. The legal issues actually began in 2023. We must be able to remember that. And we are moving from 2023 going forward up to now. We've always been moving under the guise of the fact that we've got the legitimacy of the party. Those that have got the legal status of the party are also on their own. The likes of Morgan Ngona, and they're the ones that had the legal status of the party. But we've always had the legitimacy of the party. So from the time we decided to hold a general conference as the party, we ended up electing a new flag bearer for the legitimate Patriotic Front. So in the process of electing, we saw that President Makebi Zulu emerged victorious, and today as we're talking, the person who is heading the legitimate Patriotic Front is President Makebi Zulu. So it has moved from Edgar Lungu, Kevin Lubinda, and now it is with President Makebi Zulu.
What does this leave
so now,
Miles Sampa?
So now I'll tell you, we saw that Comrade Miles Sampa was in court, and he was in court with us, of course. We have it on record that he indicated on the court record that he held an illegal conference. He indicated on the court record. Unfortunately, the court decided otherwise and decided to indicate that that conference may have been legit. But we saw that in the Court of Appeal, there was an injunction that was obtained by Ngona, which still meant that Ngona continues to operate as a legitimate SG Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, which has got the legal status, and Miles Sampa should not do anything with regards to that. And on top of that, we have since appealed that judgment, the one from the High Court, because it's bad law. Any day, any time, we'll say it is bad law. We are challenging that bad law that was created by the court, and we want to ensure that we create a precedent that will not haunt any one of us. It must be based on legal principle. It must be based on the equitable remedies of court process. Right. So right now, Honorable Miles Sampa, devoid of the fact that he may have had that judgment, which judgment we have appealed, is nowhere near the legitimate process. The legitimate process of the Patriotic Front is the one which is held by
Let's talk about leadership. Let's talk about leadership change. Immediately, the court passed its judgment. Honorable Miles Sampa went ahead and made changes in the leadership within the Patriotic Front. Is this something that you recognize, or is something that you do not recognize?
No, so remember, like I indicated, we must differentiate between the legitimate leadership of the Patriotic Front and the legal status that is held by Honorable Chavinga, Honorable Ngona, allies Chavinga and Miles. So remember that faction that Miles may have decided to make appointments and disappointments and whatever it is that it is, all those theatrics. That faction is one that is never been recognized as a legitimate leadership. But of course, it's a legal leadership according to Registrar of Societies and according to what the court indicated. However, it is not a legitimate leadership. So the legitimate leadership of the Patriotic Front remains with President Makebi Zulu. Every person in this country knows we had a legitimate process of an election which was held in 156 constituencies. It was held in 116 districts, and all of them participated, our party structures, and they decided to vote in President Makebi Zulu.
Right.
He won with a landslide victory, unprecedented. So we, anyone who would want to defy the process or defy the will of the people, then they don't mean well.
How is it possible, Mr. Mukandila, that the former acting president of the Patriotic Front, who's Honorable Kevin Lubinda, when the court passed its judgment, turned around, and even when he was part of the process of electing Makebi Zulu as PF Pamosi Alliance presidential candidate for 2026, he turned around after the court judgment and said that the party needed to hold a legal convention because the previous one wasn't recognized and it didn't even have a name.
I don't think that is what he meant. What I think he meant, which I know he meant, was that the Patriotic Front would need to have an extraordinary conference. Yeah, but I'll bet that fact the PF Pamoja Alliance held a conference, and the anchor party in the PF Pamoja Alliance held a conference which produced a leadership, and that leadership is President Makebi Zulu. No one disputes that. Even President Lubinda recognizes that the person who won that same no-name party convention is President Makebi Zulu. Devoid of the fact that people may have had mixed emotions here and there.
This other extraordinary conference that you want to have is about what?
There is recognition of the fact that the patriotic front that was in the Tonse, the patriotic front that is in the PF Pamoja Alliance, is the one that holds onto the legitimate PF. And the legitimacy of the leadership is held by that patriotic front, which is the anchor party. And today, everybody knows in this country that the president of PF and PF Pamoja Alliance and the flag bearer for this coming election is President Makebi Zulu. It is undisputed. Nobody disputes that. However, we've got our colleagues who decide in their own theatrics and decide that they'll decide to even. I saw yesterday, we've now taken this country and the citizens of Zambia as jokers, you know. I saw yesterday an individual deciding to purport that they're making applications on the patriotic front. And now it leaves us to even ask many questions, to say, okay, the question that the Zambian people begs answers for include one, I'm one of the people that were cited for contempt for the the no-name party convention that we held. I'm one of the people that were cited. And I was not on the ballot. We had President Lubinda who was cited. He was actually on the ballot. We had President Makebi Zulu who was cited for contempt. He was on the ballot. I saw individuals that were on the ballot who were omitted.
Who are these individuals?
So I mean, you look at the likes of Chitalu Chilufya, he was on the ballot. But I don't understand why any reasonable person who wants to cite people for contempt would only look at 1, 2, 3. I'm citing these ones, the rest of them, I'm leaving them out. It begs an answer now to say, why would they leave this person? Is it that this person may be in cohorts with the ruling UPND? Or is it that, those are questions the Zambian people must start asking. And today, the level of confusion that may have been wanting to be peddled by these colleagues is becoming a bit unreasonable. For me, I feel it's now more spiritual.
You have worked with Honorable Chitalu Chilufya. Even when there were allegations that he's one of the individuals that voted for Bill 7, I think he was expelled from the party, but at some point you decided to take him back and work with him. How is it possible that an individual that you brought so close has also dribbled the party again by paying you 100,000?
And by the way, I don't think he's dribbled anyone. As a matter of fact, it's just a political theatrics, like I said. Whatever it is that has been done by him, it's just him, dancing in the teeth of contempt. Which we've all recognized. As a patriotic front, we are law-abiding citizens. We believe in the integrity of the courts. I don't think any reasonable person put in their right state of mind would decide to defy court process in that manner, unless that person is in cohorts with the ruling government. We saw the way Chavinga decided to ignore court processes. We saw the way Ngona decided to ignore court processes. We saw the way that Miles at some point when he was in bed with the UPND decided to ignore court processes. So you would be able to see him. And these are answers the Zambian people must be able to answer. I do not want to discuss individuals, but I will tell you that the Patriotic Front remains a very organized institution, one that is very formidable, and one that is going to take the wings of power this 13th August under the PF.
How are you still so confident?
And I will tell you,
the PF will still return power.
The confidence I have, and by the way, I want you to understand, the Patriotic Front is in court. UPND will not allow us to even use the Patriotic Front. Any person who will purport to even be on the sidelines or to say we're using PF and all that, that person can only be considered as one who's in bed with the UPND, and their intention is to cause confusion. And we are ready to call them out. It's not a problem. Any day, anytime, we'll call them out. But I can assure you, this August elections, any day, anytime, anyone who asks me, I will tell them that this election will be won by President Makebi Zulu. And we are winning this election, and we'll win big. We are winning with a landslide victory. It has never happened in the history of this country that will have a revived leadership, one that will really look at considering the true plight of a Zambian, true reflection of what the rule of law is, true reflection of what constitutionalism is. And that is what we'll give to the Zambian people. And that is what President Makebi Zulu is bringing to the table. Any day, any time, I'm very confident, 110% confident, that President Makebi Zulu is winning these elections.
Do you think Honorable Makebi Zulu even has the numbers to win by landslide?
I have told you that any day, any time, President Makebi Zulu is winning the elections. We can only win the elections if we know and we're confident that we've got the numbers. And I'll tell you the reality of Zambian politics, just for the sake of the Zambian people, to just take you back to history. In 1991, that is the only time when we had the reintroduction of multipartyism. 1991, actually, there was a dual system of political participation, where we had MMD and UNIP. Going forward to 2001, that is the only time, by the way, we had real multipartyism, where we had a couple of political parties that came on board. We had the MMD being born, we had the FDD, you had the ZDC, the DECO, we had, so there was multipartyism in 2001 in real terms, where multiple political parties with force were participating. Going forward to 2011, in 2011, I think that was a shrinking space of multipartyism. That's the commencement of the shrink of multipartyism. Again, we only had 3 prominent political parties in 2011. There was MMD, UPND, and the Patriotic Front. And fortunate enough, we emerged victorious as the Patriotic Front. But going forward, in 2014, 2015, we reduced multipartyism to a dual system of political participation, again, where we only had PF and the UPND. 2016, there was only PF and the UPND. 2021, there was only PF and the UPND. And from 2021, the pattern will actually tell you that it's only been PF and UPND as having the political force. So we are running a country which is operating on a dual system of political participation. Now, what do I mean? There is PF and UPND. Even these elections, in this on the 13th of August, it shall be PF and UPND. Now, the question is, which PF are we looking at? It is the legitimate PF, and I'll give examples. In Kawambwa, the party we supported as the Patriotic Front under the Tonse Alliance was the one that emerged number 2. In Pambashe, the party we supported as the Patriotic Front is the one that emerged number 2. And everywhere you have been, the party that we have supported in Petauke, we actually even emerged victorious. In Petauke, by the way, then President Lungu was alive. In this Chawama, after the death of President Lungu, we still saw that where the real Patriotic Front was, the legitimate Patriotic Front, where it was, is where the people say this is where the PF is, and we are giving them the votes. So clearly, it shows that there's a dual system of elections, and even this time around, right now, the legitimate process of the PF, the legitimate PF is headed by President Makebi Zulu. So the Zambian people know where PF is, and they know that the person to win these elections is a Patriotic Front, and the legitimate Patriotic Front for that matter. The Zambian people are tired of these individuals who may be extremely selfish deciding to come and cause confusion in this nation. I think we've reached that point of being extremely tired. So I can tell you, this is a scientific model of how I've looked at politics in Zambia and political dualism right now currently existing. So because of that, it shall be PF and UPND. Now this time around, because people are tired of UPND and the Zambian people are just saying, Bwana, give us the special purpose vehicle, we shall vote for PF. And the PF they are voting for is one that is headed by President Makebi Zulu. And that's why I'm very confident. Any day I actually have proper sleeps now. I can wake up and say, okay, devoid of what we're going through, I know we're changing government in this August 13th elections.
I ask the question about confidence, Mr. Mukandila, because we now see Honorable Chitalo Chilufya, who went ahead and paid 100,000 kwacha to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. To also, as presidential candidate of the Patriotic Front. And the question that emerges is, who's the legitimate leader? Of course, she is telling us it's Makebi Zulu, but this also feeds confusion. It's showing confusion to the Zambian people.
It clearly
and telling us that the
that
Patriotic Front is the most organized political party. How do people believe that you're the most organized political party when there's Brian Mundubile, who's heading a Tonse Alliance, also claiming to be the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front? There is Makebi Zulu, there is now Chitalo Chilufya, there is Marsa.
No, let's be realistic. I gave a very good explanation of where the PF is coming from. And if you did not get it, just for the sake of...
I did get it.
For the sake of reminding
I'm asking you, based on the information that even Honorable Mundubile speaks about.
For the sake of reminding you, you see, I am one person who believes in following procedure and process. And I follow governance models. And I will tell you any day, anytime, I will never support any person who decides not to follow basic principles of governance, and that is me. And that is the reason why I have been with Dr. Edgar Lungu, may he so rest in peace. I decided to be with President Luvinda when he was president, because he was a legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front. And I am with President Makebi Zulu because he is the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front. Any day, any time, I shall defend process and procedure. Any day, any time, I shall defend constitutionalism. Any day, any time. So I will tell you, those that may have claimed today or tomorrow or whenever to say no, they are PF, the moment you decide to leave the Patriotic Front, you are no longer Patriotic Front. The moment you decide to join this political movement, whatever it is called, as long as it doesn't have the blessings of the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front and legitimate leadership of the Patriotic Front, then you are no longer. So let's look at, let's call spades as they're supposed to be called. We'll call spade a spade. Is Chitalo Chilufya or any of these colleagues, are they PF? Right now I will tell you, President Makebi is the only person who's president of the Patriotic Front, the legitimate PF. Any day, any time I will tell you that.
And who's got the papers to the party?
That is why I told you we must differentiate between legitimacy of the process or legitimacy of and the legalities. Right now, the person that is registered with the registry of societies is Ngona. Is the one that is holding this crossed the floor. They must by today lose their seats. Now they must remember. In as much as today they may think they have the protection of Hakainde or the ruling elite, they must remember that some of us will go to lengths to ensure that the law is followed to the letter and the constitution is protected by all means. These colleagues must know that very soon, we will take them on and ensure that we remind them that there is a case of Simbiakula and other ministers. Remember, where they were told that there was unjust enrichment by those ministers who decided to stay in office even after dissolution of parliament. So even these colleagues should know, the moment you decide to cross the floor, in public interest, we must ensure that you stop getting paid that money. And I will tell you, Lovisa, in no uncertain terms, these colleagues will pay back that money to the Zambian people. We can't continue on a path where we have individuals vilifying the constitution and we let them just enjoy free money. No, that's unjust enrichment. That is theft of public resources. We will not allow that. So I will tell you, we can put them out, we can lay them there. We had the an MP in Bahati, Livan. We've got an MP is it by the name of in this Kabwe, yeah, Mushanga. We've got all of these colleagues. I must remind them, the just thing to do, colleagues, and I'm telling you, not that I'm warning you or anything, colleagues, the just thing for you to do is to respect the Zambian people and the will of the Zambian people and the constitution. The moment you crossed, you needed not to continue attending parliamentary business.
Let's talk about MPs defecting from the Patriotic Front to the UPND and endorsing President Hakainde Hichilema ahead of the 2026 general election. Doesn't this also send signals that even your own members have lost confidence in the party leadership?
It's not that. It sends a signal that we've got a lot of lawlessness and people who don't care about the country. We have a lot of them that are doing that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any person defecting from one party to another. There's nothing, totally nothing wrong. But there is everything wrong. I find everything wrong with a person who's going to defy the oath of office that they undertook. Especially that which allows them to protect and defend the Constitution. The body of the Constitution says that any person who crosses the floor loses their seat. Today, all those colleagues, and that is why I've said, this is not a warning, it's a friendly reminder to our colleagues, that as long as you have crossed the floor, the Simbiakula matter is very instructive to that effect. You shall pay back the Zambian people. It means you've betrayed the trust of the Zambian people. There's nothing wrong with you crossing the floor, do the right thing, leave your seat. Go and campaign in your constituency if you think you are strong. We'll meet you there. We've got candidates everywhere in the country that will actually be able to defeat most of these guys that have left the Patriotic Front. And I can assure you, these colleagues, none of them will even have any ounce to beat us.
Right.
Because we are winning this election and we are winning big. And we'll ensure that as long as you've defected, you have not followed the procedure as provided for in the Constitution of the Republic, you shall pay back Zambian people's money.
Right. Council, Honorable Makebi Zulu has paid his 100,000 kwacha as nomination fee for his presidency in the PF Pamosi Alliance. What is the way forward for the alliance now that obviously you're not going to use the Patriotic Front to get on the ballot? What is the way forward for the alliance, and are you using any other party to be on the ballot this year?
And that's a very important question. I want to put a lot of comfort in our comrades in the Patriotic Front and our comrades in the PF Pamosi Alliance. We are the most ready party right now. We are the most ready party to run the affairs of this nation and beat Hakainde in the forthcoming general elections. I want to reassure the Zambian people that we've been ready ever since. Like I've always indicated, we've got the best planners, the best thinkers, the towards achieving very irresponsible leadership running the affairs of this country. These people told him that, Bwana, you do not have a mandate. There's a matter before court today. He did not have a mandate. Colleagues have even gone as far as indicating that that was an illegal conference. I mean, he did not have a mandate. So it shows that you're dealing with a person who's so scared of even letting other players participate in the process. But I will tell you, scared or not, sir, Mr. Hakainde, don't worry, we shall take care of you as you leave State House or the whims of authority, because he's not even in State House. In fact, he even did well not to move to State House.
And you think Makebi Zulu is that famous?
President Makebi Zulu is winning these elections, I can assure you. Madam Lovisa, in 1991, President Chiluba only campaigned for 3 months. He was not even the favorite. In 2001, is it in 2006, Rupiah Banda did not campaign for much time. In 2008, 2015, President Lungu only campaigned for 28 days. 28 days. And he won the elections. He was not even the favorite of them all. But I can assure you, this time around, we even have a person who is known everywhere, a person who is very sellable, a person who can relate with you. It's MZ8. Is your guy, is my guy, is a person that we can relate to. One who understands the current generation. This is a person who will tell you to say, hey, man, what is happening? Are we able to do this and that? And then when you do it, a person who even understands that there are youngsters who will tell you that let's clock it. A person who understands the times we're living in. One who even understands that there's cryptocurrency that is running most of the affairs of the financial world. So, colleagues, countrymen and women, I will assure you that these elections, President Makebi Zulu is winning, and we are winning big. And it's either you are alive now, or you watch us celebrate in the Independence Stadium. Is it Heroes Stadium there?
Council, before I let you go, allow me to just take this call. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, how are you, my sister?
All right, thank you. Please, we are in a very noisy place where we can barely get you.
How about now? How about now?
We can get you, Mr. When?
Very soon.
Because it seems like you're no longer campaigning for the material seats. You've gone on the quiet side. Have you given up on your aspirations as MP, or are you continuing? Before you respond, Council, let me take this call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Your names and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from Sak.
Your names, please.
This is Cowboy.
Yes, Cowboy.
Yes, madam, I'll be very quick. I think these people, the honorable is there. They should be very ashamed, because when you look at even Fredman, that's got a very good, what can you say, a base within the national character. If you even talk about the Antaras, done something, but these guys, they have just come up and they speak that within 90 days, they have got the resources to move around, pulling resources to put MPs and everyone there. I think this is the serious joking that you can ever have, that people can come on media platforms like this to mislead, because I don't even maybe to go just even in districts of just Wapula or any southern province. They don't know these guys, and then they are busy making noise. They must be serious. How many candidates are we so far? 16 who have put nomination there. Then we're having people, there are very few people who are even listening to this program. We are busy wasting time. 90 days. They must go flat out there. Let's be serious in this country.
Mr. Kabwe, thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
All right, Council, I'll let you respond to my earlier question as we wind up.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I need not get into a single constituency to campaign right now, because I'm at the level of Secretary General. That requires that I have got 226 constituencies that I'm looking at. As a matter of fact, there's a lot that is involved in the administration of the party. Remember, we've got an appointment with ensuring that we win these elections, and we shall win them, like I indicated. And it requires a lot of consistency in the way we operate. If we are going to decide to concentrate our efforts into a single constituency, then we are doing a disservice to the Zambian people. Remember, some of us are sworn in to protect and defend the Constitution. And we'll do it diligently to ensure that we deliver to the Zambian people. The constituency shall be there. We'll be able to, we've continued supporting constituency affairs and everything else in the constituency, but we'll be able to guide the Zambian people in due course.
In short, you're not contesting.
I have not said that. I've just said we'll be able to guide. I've actually observed that apparently my colleagues are scared of applying to contest in Matero. I have not made a statement. We'll wait and see.
And they're scared of you?
But I don't know. I mean, I've not indicated anything. But I also want to comment on one thing which is extremely critical to the affairs of this nation. We woke up to a rude shock when the Ministry of Information informed the nation that the RightsCon summit was cancelled. This is the biggest human rights summit that is held in the world. We had an opportunity as a country to host this summit. Unfortunately, this government is a government which is scared of the unknown. Fear of the unknown, we don't understand. How does a normal operating government decide to indicate that they are cancelling the program because they needed a comprehensive disclosure of the critical information relating to key thematic issues being proposed to be discussed? What key issues? They are the government. Let them tell us what it is that they want to be disclosed. This conference is so organized that even those that are going to be on the panel are put on their platform. Even the discussion will be, where the discussion will be based on, they put on the platform. The country knows. They participated in the preparation of this process. Unfortunately, we're seeing what is happening. It is extremely wrong. More than 2,000 delegates would have traveled into Zambia. Today, as we're talking, all the hotels in Lusaka were fully booked for this summit. Fully booked for this summit. Extremely booked. We would have increased in tourism because our colleagues would have come to see the beauty of the country. Would have increased in the businesses. Our taxis were going to do well. Our mobile money agents would have done well. Our bus drivers would have done well. It was going to be an economic boom for this period of time, a short period of time. And not only that, we would have learned more as to how human rights are in Zambia. Or those that are coming to give talks, they are persona non grata in Zambia. It is not right, and we must not let it be so.
Honorable Mukandila, Mr. Mukandila, thank you for joining us this afternoon on the National Pulse program. It's been a pleasure having you. I know you had a meeting that was scheduled for 13:30, but we've just overshot. But thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks very much to the viewer.
All right, we come to the end of the National Pulse program today. Thank you for tuning in, our dear viewer. Acting Patriotic Front Secretary General Celestine Mukandila was my guest as well, looking at who the legitimate leader of the Patriotic Front is. My name is Lovisa Chilufya, and till tomorrow, just stay tuned to Millennium TV. Good day.